My first American Girl doll was a Just Like You number 12. I named her Rebecca. She looked like this. See the resemblance? I'm kidding, we look nothing alike. But this was my best bet back in 2006. Back then all the dolls looked like that. Mostly white with a round little face and perfect thick bangs. American Girl prides itself on inclusion, so the selection definitely improved over time. They released more dolls of color, dolls with hearing aids, dolls with no hair, dolls with colored hair, dolls with diabetes, but still nothing that looked like me. Little old 100% Ashkenazi Jewish me. Seriously, my mom said doing a 23andMe would be a waste for us. It would come back all Eastern European Jew, no surprises. Side note, American Girl did release a Jewish doll named Rebecca, and she did sort of look like me, and I did own her at one point, but she was part of the historical line, not the Just Like You collection, so it didn't count. American Girl still didn't have a doll that looked like me. I can only imagine what it was like for girls of real marginalized communities. I say it like that because I grew up in a Jewish neighborhood in LA. I was never discriminated against because of my Judaism, except maybe if you count that letter Esther Kim wrote me when I was going to switch elementary schools. It said, "You were nice even though you were Jewish." It didn't faze me much at the time. My dad, though, was outraged. My mom never cared much for religion, but even she once told me we should start marking down our race as other, like on forms and applications and stuff, because we were Jewish. I never did that. I doubt she ever did either. I think my hair looks Jewish. I think my nose looks Jewish too. My mom tells me it doesn't because she thinks it'll make me feel better, but my nose and pretty much my entire face looks like my dad's, and my dad looks like a Sacha Baron Cohen and Eugene Levy mixed together, so I'd definitely say I have some Semitic characteristics. I wouldn't say I'm a self-hating Jew or anything, I'm not. I'm really not, but I do hate my face sometimes, most of the time. And it probably all started with those Just Like You dolls back in 2006, staring me down from their museum-like glass cases at the American Girl store with their perfect Aryan features. Rebecca, my Just Like You number 12, was the very ideal of beauty to me. She had this cute button nose and clear skin. Obviously, she was made of vinyl, and she had these rosy cheeks, and her hair, it was long and thick, and she had bangs that went straight down instead of bouncing all over the place like mine did, and still do. I loved that doll, and I guess one day I just felt like I needed to prove that she was supposed to be me, or I was supposed to be her, so I decided I would pierce her ears. Now, the American Girl store offers doll ear piercings, but they cost $14, and I was 12 years old at the time and had just spent all my Hanukkah gelt on those design-your-own Converse sneakers, so I opted for the more DIY route. I took a pair of silver ball stud earrings from my own jewelry box and the hammer from my dad's toolbox and got to work hammering the earring through the doll's tiny earlobe. I got about halfway through the left ear when I accidentally bent the post in half, and when I tried to straighten out the bend, I overcorrected and the whole thing broke off, leaving half the post still lodged in the doll's ear. It probably didn't look that bad, and if worst comes to worst, there's a doll hospital. Yes, that exists. But I was angry. I was angry at me for fucking up, and I was angry at the American Girl piercings for being too expensive, and I was angry at Rebecca for being more beautiful than me, so I just ripped her head off. I tore off all her stuffing. I ripped off one of her legs. Eventually I got a replacement Rebecca, another number 12. But this number 12 was made after a series of redesigns to the Just Like You line. Her body was stiffer, her facial expression looked harsher, and her hair was shorter and thinner. And she looked nothing like me. And that's okay. She was unremarkable. She was just a doll.